Hello all, we are live now. We can start now.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope students have joined. And we can see some messages are coming in the window. We're happy to take the questions.
Yeah, Simran Assis, you can also check now and let us know if there is some questions. Yes, yes, we have received few questions in the form also. Mm, yes. So Simran, can you type those now? Just copy paste those. And if there are some live students, let me open it here.
You can see some two, three messages, but there are no questions in the live window coming up. We request students to please write their questions in the live chat, and all the three faculty are here to answer your queries. You can ask questions from any part of the course. We will try to address it. Good afternoon, Vipin.
Yeah, so one question we have received. Yes. So from Ismail, isn't it? Ismail, are you there? Okay, so this is related to week 6, lecture number 30 on decision tree. So your question is like how to find out which predictor variable will be coming in the tree and the branch will be divided, and how to decide the cutoff value. So for that, I think we need to share my screen. So let me open that lecture. Week 6, lecture 30. 6, lecture number 30. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, I think you are asking from this week. Okay, so your question is like, how do you decide that while contamination like will come here na, and split the node? Uh, and then why this cutoff value 5.5? So, and then why utilization is coming over there? So what is the reason behind it? So although we have explained in detail in the video, but I'll just summarize it once again. So if you look at node 0, na, so node 0, I have total 700 observations, okay? Out of 700 observations, like 36% are no, 64% are yes, okay? So, and randomly, 64% probability that the machine would break down. So if I pick any machine randomly, 64% probability that it would break down, 36% probability that it would not break down. Now I want to make my prediction much accurate. Okay, so with that purpose, we are splitting the node. Okay, so now the question is why oil contamination? Why not oil utilization? Why not MTBF and so on? So for that, there's a concept called impurity, reduction in impurity. Okay, so there are two methods to capture impurity. One is Gini index and another one is entropy. Okay, so that has been already taught in the previous lecture, not in this lecture. So I'll open that slide also so that you get some idea. Okay. So for that, we need to understand these two concepts. One is Gini index, another one is entropy, which was taught in lecture number 29, the previous lecture. So in that, these are the two concepts, Gini index and entropy. So Gini index, if Gini index is 0, that means there is no impurity in the data. Okay, that is 100% of the data belongs to class 1 and there is no observation in class 2. Okay, so that means there is no impurity. All the observations belong to same class. So if I have to predict what would be the class, it would be class 1. Similarly, if you see 0% in class 1, 100% in class 2. That means there is no impurity in the data. All observations belongs to class 2. So therefore, Gini index also 0, entropy is also 0. But if you see the extreme case, 50% observations belongs to class 1 and 50% observations belongs to class 2. So that is most impure data in terms of most random data. Okay, so if I pick anything, 50% probability that it will be class 1, 50% probability that it will be class 2. So therefore, Gini index is highest 0.5, entropy is also highest 1. Okay. So now these are the two measure of impurity. Okay. Now if I go back and come here. So in this case, at node 0, my impurity is how much? Impurity is, if I just show you the calculation, 0.46. That is the Gini value. Okay. Now my objective of decision tree is to reduce this impurity. Okay. So if I split it with oil contamination and that to cut off 5.5, and then my Gini at node 1 comes out to be 0.44. Gini at node 2 comes out to be 0.40. So now in both the cases, Gini has reduced, but it may happen that in some node Gini has reduced, in other node Gini actually might increase also. Okay. So therefore, I have to check overall reduction in Gini. So overall reduction in Gini is 0.46, which was actual Gini at node 0, minus 0.44 for 20% of the observation. So 0.2 into 0.44 minus 0.40 and 80% of the observation. So the 80% is the weight. So 0.8 is the weight of 0.4. 0.2 is the weight of 0.44. Because node 1, I have 20% of the observation. So 0.2 multiplied by 0.44, 0.8 multiplied by 0.40. So that is the reduction. And actually it was 0.46. So overall reduction is how much? 0.042. Okay, now please listen this very, very carefully. And that is where your question was. Now, in place of oil contamination, if I bring any other variable, utilization, age, and any other cutoff, then my reduction in Gini will be less than 0.052. So this is the maximum possible reduction. So how this happens in a real life, like if I go back and see the algorithm, what happens for each node, at node 0, each and every variable will appear. So oil contamination, let us oil contamination has 100 different values. So each and every value will be tested and reduction in Gini will be calculated. So let us say next, I will bring age. Age, let us say, has 50 different values. So each and every value, I'll put it as a cutoff and then calculate reduction in impurity. So let us assume I have seven variable. For each variable, I have 100 different observations. So 7 into 100. So 700 different cutoffs I'll get. And for each cutoff, I'll calculate reduction in impurity. Okay. So the maximum reduction in impurity is 0.052, and which happens for the cutoff of 5.5, and that too for oil contamination. So therefore, oil contamination and 5.5 is the cutoff. Okay. Similarly, if I go back to the next, let us say node 2, MTBF has come. So again, same thing. So node 2, Gini 0.40 and reduction in impurity 0.11. Okay. So in place of MTBF, if you bring oil contamination over here, okay, then your reduction in impurity will be less than 0.11. So I have to find out that particular variable and that particular cutoff, which will give me maximum reduction in impurity. So how to find out that variable, that cutoff? By doing the iterative method. So I have to bring each and every variable and check all the values, find out the reduction impurity. If I do the process for each variable, each cutoff value, I'll be able to find out this value 23.95. So hope this is clear. If you have any doubt, please let me know in the chat box. Okay.
Yeah, I think we also have received a question uh, about the course where participant has appreciated about the content particularly, and especially the way the course has been designed, keeping both supply chain management and analytics as the primary part of the course. There are also various questions related to exam formats. So one thing about the exam I can say is that whatever way uh, you have been attending the assignment questions, all the questions in final exam will be of similar format, and it will also be from the topics which are covered in this course. So please go through all these sessions in detail and look into your assignments, and also try to solve the questions which are given during both live sessions and also the recorded sessions, as well as the different assignments which you have been solving on a weekly basis. So that will help you. All these will be helping you for preparing your final exams. In terms of tools and calculators, yes, the basic calculations will only be required because we cannot go for Python calculations and all. So the basics needs to be very clear for your final exam, and in that way you can plan your final things. If I'm missing any point, I'll request other faculty to add to this.
Yeah, so there's a follow-up question from Mr. Ismail. Yeah, so thank you for that. I hope, like, thank you for understanding the theory behind it. So that is how it happens. Like, it happens in a loop. So for each variable, each cutoff, it comes, and then I need to find out reduction in impurity. That is how this algorithm happens. That is the basic backend algorithm for decision tree. There are improved version also. Like if we go for random forest boosting, then this is becoming more efficient. Okay, this is not an efficient way of checking each and every point. So your question is now related to Python. Okay, so now if I share my screen again. So in Python, okay, let us see from the first. So this is the data set. It's already been shared with you, maintenance.csv, and it has 1000 observations. Okay. So first thing what we did, like this is the list of variables. I can see all 7 variables. Then second step, what we did, we remove the machine failure variable, which is my feature variable. The dependent variable is machine failure. So I have to remove it from there. So because I will treat it as a dependent variable, that's what we did. I have removed that variable. Okay. Then next, X is my features variable. So except machine failure, all are over here. Y is machine failure. So this is my dependent variable. These are all my independent variable. Okay. Now what we did, 30% data I have reserved for testing purpose and 70% for training purpose. So this particular code, train, test, split, test size equal to 0.3. So this will give me 30% test data and 70% training data. So if you see, I have 700 rows and 7 columns. Okay, so this is my training data. The test data have 300 rows, you can see. Now, this is where you need to pay attention. Now, Mr. Ismail. So, if you see this from sklearn, okay, dot tree. So, this is scikit-learn is a machine learning library for Python. It features various algorithms like k-means, decision tree, random forest, OST regression. So, I have called sklearn, and within that, there is a decision tree classifier. Okay. There will be decision tree regressor also, but since we are doing classification, I am importing decision tree classifier. And this particular algorithm, this particular algorithm has inbuilt that backend calculation, whatever we have explained just now. So if I bring decision tree classifier and ask it to create a decision tree of depth 2 and use Gini as criteria, then what it will do? It will bring each and every variable and take the value of this variable one by one and calculate maximum reduction in Gini. Okay. Until it's find the, so it will do, let us say I have 7 variables. Each variable has 100 different values. So 700 times iteration will happen, isn't it? So after 700 iteration, it will find out which variable, which cutoff value is giving me maximum reduction in Gini. That variable will be brought in. Okay. So this algorithm is already inbuilt in it. So you don't have to write the code for it. If you bring decision tree classifier, automatically that algorithm will run in the backend. Okay. And that is how you are seeing like oil contamination and cutoff 5.5 as the best possible cutoff to split the node. That is how you will see utilization and cutoff 92.05 as the best uh, cutoff value for utilization at this node. Okay, so is it clear now? Okay, good. So then,
I think there's one question on DA also. Just check.
yes, yes. So Mr. Idris Ismail, like, is it clear to you? Okay, thank you. So he has understood. Thank you so much, Ismail. Okay. Yeah, there is a Bipan that also had the same question. So is it clear, Bipan, also to you? Okay. Now there is a question related to DEA. So let me open that slide. Okay. So in D, what was your specific question? Like, can you write it down? I can see some question, but not so clear. Uh, okay. So in DA, basically, okay, then no need to share the slide also. Okay. So the practical relevance of DA. So DA is basically data envelopment analysis. So this is a tool, to find out the efficiency in any industry. Okay. So let us say if you talk about manufacturing industry, suppose you have 10 different setups. Okay. 10 different manufacturing setup you have across the country. You want to find out which one is more efficient. Okay. So how do you find out efficiency? Output by input. But if there is only one output, one input is very easy. Output by input. That is the efficiency. But unfortunately, we have multiple outputs and multiple inputs. So then how to find out the efficiency, okay? And how to compare the efficiency also. So DA is a tool to do that. So if you have multiple outputs, multiple inputs, then how to find out which manufacturing unit is doing well. Let us say outputs is how much, let us say, products are being produced, okay? And then input could be the cost of raw material, input could be how much money you are spending on suppliers. So all of this could be input. Output could be sustainability factors, how much CO2 emissions are being done, how much energy are being consumed over there. So if there are multiple output parameters, multiple input parameters, then DA helps you to find out what is the efficiency of that manufacturing unit compared to 9 other unit, and which one is efficient, which one is not efficient. If somebody is not efficient, then how to make them efficient. So it's a very interesting tool to find out of, let us see, you have 3 output parameters and 4 input parameters. So which output parameters should I focus, which will give me efficiency at a faster rate? Which input parameters should I focus so that it increases my efficiency at a faster rate? If I increase output, my efficiency will go up. If I reduce inputs, my efficiency will go down. But the question is, out of 7 parameters, where should I focus? You can focus in here, but then what will happen if I know that if I focus output number 2, and a small change in output number 2 might give me a better efficiency score. So therefore, it gives a direction to find out which output, which input parameters I should focus on so that my efficiency increases at a faster rate. Is it clear, the idea behind it, Mr. Bipan? Okay, nice. Okay. So Nirmal has a question, Nirmal Parmar. Okay, so you understand that the decision tree algorithm has automatically set the optimal cutoff value. It's not automatically. There is an algorithm behind it. Based on that algorithm, it sets the cutoff for oil contamination at 5.5 because that gives you the maximum reduction in impurity. Okay. Now, if you want to modify the algorithm, use utilization as the predictor variable. Then you have to change your predictor variable. Nah? You cannot use machine failure as a dependent variable. So we have to change uh, utilization as the dependent variable. Okay, you want to use utilization as a predictor variable. So then it's not, because that is not the best. Nah? So you cannot decide which one you want. Okay, so the algorithm will decide because utilization in this case is not the best predictor variable. Because if I bring utilization on top, it will not be the best variable. The best variable is oil contamination and cutoff is 5.5. Okay. You can create your own cutoff, but that decision tree might not be the best decision tree. Okay. So then you can create it, no problem. But then it will not serve the purpose. Your prediction, overall prediction in machine failure will not be correct. Okay, the next question, how to update the decision tree? You can update, na? So how you can update? Let us see. But that's not the decision tree algorithm. You can do it. So let us say, just for the purpose of understanding, suppose you want to bring utilization over here, okay, 85%. So how to do? You will bring utilization, okay. So let us, if I can write it, I'll write it down. Just a second. Okay, so you are saying in place of this, you want to bring utilization, okay. You want to say utilization less than equal to 85%. Sorry. That's what you are saying. Okay, you can do that, but this is not the optimum best decision tree. So then what will happen? You will be able to split the node. So out of total 700, na, you have to find out how many observations has utilization less than equal to 85%. So you have to go to the data set and find out how many observations has utilization less than equal to 85%, how many observations has utilization more than 85%. Out of that, how many yes, how many no. Out of that, how many yes, how many no. So you can do it, perfectly possible, but that's not the best decision tree algorithm. That is a decision tree based on your interest. You have created it, but that may not be the optimum decision. Okay. Is it clear, Nirmal? An Excel file is already given to you. So as Simran has shared like with you, so you can work on the Excel file. You can create it, but that's not the best decision tree model. Okay, so that's fine. You can do it, but that will not give you the desired output. So as far as the prediction is concerned, it will not be able to do good prediction for you. Okay. Yes, Nirmal ji, if you say yes, no, something, then that will help us. So we can proceed with other because there are some few more questions also. Okay, so some of you are asking how to do it in Excel. So, okay. So that's very simple. Now you have to put in Excel. So let us say, I'll just give you some idea. So let us say you want to put utilization as cutoff. So what you can do, you have utilization, you sort smallest to largest. Okay. So how many less than 85% you find out. So this is a manual job which you have to do, or you can write a code in Python also. So how many less than 85%? So let us say this many, 400. So from here. So yeah, around 447 out of 1,000. So I have the test data as well as training data. So out of 447, you have to find out how many machine failure, how many not machine failure. So there's iterative process. Okay. So out of 447, I can see. Again, you go and check. So that's a manual process. But if you write a code in Python, you have to write a code in Python. There's no process as such. There's no like library. You have to write a code using if else constant, if else condition, and then find out. So let us say 400, something like this. So out of 440, how many yes? 260 yes. So 260 divided by 440, that is the value of machine failure rate. Okay. So you have to work with the Excel data. And as Simran said, so all the data is already with you. Okay. So it's with you. You can use Python code to extract the training data, and then you do the rest of the calculation. So Simran has already explained uh, how to find it out. Okay. Bipan, that was not my question. What was your question? Is not clear, Mr. Bipan. Okay, your question was how to solve the decision tree model using Python. Is it clear now?
No, I think his doubt is about he is finding some difficulty using Python, I guess. The
Okay.
practical in general. I think it's a general query for.
Then I think TA will help you. Okay, so our TA there, Mr. Miss Simran and Ashish. So we have to like sit with them and do it. So we have given you the code and the relevant data files. Okay. If you have specific question, we can help you. And we have already given you the code. We have already explained how to use it. Uh, but if you have like very basic understanding in Python, I think then our TA will sit with you. You can have a email conversation with them. You can have a call with them also. They will help you. Okay. Then, okay, is there any other question? Okay, thanks, Bipanji. Let us know. Okay, even you can reach out to me also over email, and then I'll get you connected with our teaching assistant or with our student. Okay. And I would suggest that whatever assignments are being given by the TAs now, please do sincerely. That will definitely help you to prepare for your end term exam also. So we have this purpose of this course is not to teach you na Python. The purpose of this course is how to use analytics for better supply chain decision making. So we have used this tool as a facilitator, not as a like not to teach Python. Okay. So therefore, we have not given too much focus on Python aspect. But however, if you want to reproduce these results, you can do it. And then the purpose of this course will be lost. There are like NPTEL courses on how to use Python. There are many courses on Python itself. So if you have doubts, you can like register for those courses. But for our uh, code and data set. If you have any specific doubts, please reach out. Or if you have a basic doubt also, please mail us, okay? Or there are like uh, queries in the discussion forum. Simran and Ashish, they are very good in Python. And they would be definitely would be able to help you, okay? Okay, Bipanji, I think it makes sense. Okay, thank you. So Jairamji, like if you write in the discussion forum, na, so our TAs have the access and they have been responding to your queries. So please write over there and then they will definitely get back to you. Okay.
Yeah. I think we have received one question about blockchain in supply chain and material management. So, as a part of this course, we have just discussed about the different types of blockchains and their applications for supply chain issues, whether it is about material management or whether it is about bringing transparency in the whole supply chain. So, we have not touched about its technical details because here we are trying to focus more about applying this new technologies in the supply chain and understanding that how this is helpful for making it more transparent, more useful, and also beneficial for the overall system. In this direction, all the companies are currently progressing. So that's why this is the innovativeness that is happening in the system that is being discussed in this course. Uh, with respect to the technical element, of course, we are not into the technical part of it as already shared by Professor Devabrata also. So that is about this question. And that's why there is no programming which is attached particularly for this topic. However, when we are doing analytics part of the course where we have got abundant data, then obviously analytics is the most useful part, and it is we are trying to demonstrate that how different types of analytical tools can be used for solving the different challenges in supply chain. So this part I'm sure will be useful for everyone. Those who are working in supply chain domain, irrespective of their function, whether they are in procurement or they are in manufacturing or they are in logistics or operation, these examples will help them a lot in understanding that how these data can be usefully analyzed and some important conclusion can be made out of it. I think we also have one question from a participant who is asking that is a MBA e-commerce in diploma in material management from Amity. Yeah, so I'm sure this course will be very useful for you because we have been discussing about different types of supply chain and how the challenges are different for every supply chain, and also given you certain examples about solving them in detail. So please look for this course. It will definitely help you in understanding the challenges and the approach for managing those challenges. I think we have also got one query about to contact the TAs. So we already have one discussion forum. Please feel free to write out your queries to that. Our TAs are very active. Thanks a lot to Simran and Ashish. They have been managing this course wonderfully. So please feel free to write your queries about your sessions from the sessions that you're covering it up. And they're here to help you out at every step.
There's one question on JIT and ABC.
Okay, so JIT and ABC is very different, I should say. ABC analysis is all about how do you manage, how do you classify your inventory, and that's a very popular technique of doing that. Whereas just JIT is just in time, which ensures that depending upon the process requirement, how can you see that the processes can be done immediately or they are not hampered because of any challenges related to man, material, machine, and everything. So everything is available on time and the process can be done without any hindrance. Whereas ABC analysis is related to inventory classification. So when you have got multiple items in your company, in your organization, in your company, in your production area, and you are trying to understand that which are most important items in terms of value and in terms of their usage, we apply this type of framework to classify these inventory. So based on the value of the items, it can be clearly classified into one of these three categories. It's a very, very popular technique of classifying the inventory. So I hope I have answered this part.
The question on demanding role in supply chain. So I think I'll just add few points, but I think all of us can answer, all the faculty also. This is by Ismail. So thanks, Ismail, for all the questions and active participation. You have raised an important point, which is, supply chain in the current digital era. When we talk about today, all of us are using some kind of tools and technologies, our mobiles, we are using payment applications, we are using ERP systems. And all of this is actually enabling the various parties within a supply chain to work very closely with each other. In earlier times, maybe 15 years back or so, this kind of technology was not available. So much integration was not possible. But now this availability of information system and technology is much more accessible. And so supply chains are able to work very closely, or organizations are able to work very closely within the supply chain. Now, how does this create, a requirement for roles? If in, since you're talking about job transition, definitely someone who is having a good understanding of the basic operations of supply chain management. How does inventory work? How does production work? How does transportation perform? What are the different modes of transport? How do we do the costing of the transportation modes? And how do we also manage the various facilities we have, like our plant facilities, operations over there, operations in our retail stores? How do we organize our items over there? And how do we manage facilities, intermediate facilities like our warehouses? All of these are very important aspects from a pure operations and supply chain perspective. But the requirement now is also to have some idea about the tools and technologies also. How can you use technology over here to create a lot of visibility of information? If I'm in a plant, I should be aware of what is happening to my goods downstream, somewhere in the warehouse. Or maybe I'm a warehouse and I have goods which are going to be used in a plant. So I should be aware of the plant operations so that I do not overstock in the warehouse. I can bring in concepts like just in time, and I can also look at arranging my transportation. So here technology comes into a lot of use, right? So you are able to get a lot of real-time visibility. At the same time, with analytics, you are able to also make very good decisions which are very objective in nature. So this is currently very much in demand when we talk about supply chain management as such. It is a role which is very much in demand. The country is also investing large amounts in infrastructure, in facilities, in transportation infrastructure, and this is all being done in order to lower the logistics cost. So there is definitely in any organization with a manufacturing or retail kind of operations, you will have a lot of these roles still continuing. Even if there is a general economy slowdown, which can impact other sectors, sectors like logistics and manufacturing, as logistics especially, I would say, you will usually find that they are always going to be having some kind of employability, because we still need a lot of people in this sector, and we still need a lot of people with good technology background. So I hope I gave you some insight there, and I also invite the other faculty to share their insights on this. But we are also getting a lot of other questions, so I will leave it to the faculty if they want to take it up.
Yeah, I think Mr. Hussain has a query about his current challenge and how I think he's working in hospital as a store in charge, and obviously we understand your issue. You are managing many items. Uh, so at the beginning, we suggest that maybe you can apply this ABC analysis for classifying your inventory, which is a very simple tool and easily available. This will help you in making in classifying your inventory, and based on that, you can have some strategies for managing them. So the high value items can be accordingly managed, and similarly, those items which are needed at a regular basis but the values are less. So accordingly, their storage policies, their supplier management, all these things will change. So with respect to it, once you have classified your inventory, you can have the dedicated engagement or dedicated strategies for these classified items. Uh, I think that is one of the most simplest way of starting the work.
Yes. And there is another question from Mr. Deepak. So he's asking like, how can SMEs leverage digital supply chain solution without heavy capital investment? I think it's a very interesting question. I'll just start, and then other faculty also can please add your points. So obviously they will not have so much money to invest in high-end technological solutions, let us say robotics, additive manufacturing, and so on. But what they can easily do is the analytics. So digitization has two parts, digital supply chain, as you have seen in our course. One was technology part, like blockchain, and another was analytical part. Okay, so mathematical, like optimization model, then predictive algorithm, descriptive analysis. So all of these are easily possible. Maybe technology will be very costly for few of this technology, but what you can easily do, you can collect data. Data is with you. You can do some descriptive analytics. If you have Power BI or any other dashboard, from there you can find out the inefficiency in your system. It, that is one way. You can develop some predictive algorithms to find out like now what is the demand from different manufacturing sites. Accordingly, you can build up your inventory so that you can minimize overstock as well as minimize understock also. So analytics, definitely you can use it a lot, and that is very low investment. You just need the Python, which is free and available. You only need some data scientists who can analyze this data and understand the business. So that immediately you can do it, and it's very much scalable. Like you can do it, you can do, let us say, for one of your plant, and then you can multiply it for other plants also. And let us, I think that is what from my side. Professor Susmita, Professor Priyanka, you can also add value.
Yeah, I think this is a very interesting and very important question, I feel. Usually, when we talk about supply chain, our examples are all large MNCs, Unilever, Procter and Gamble, and Microsoft and all of that, right? So I think it's a very important question that you have asked. One is definitely the AI part, which Professor Devrota has very nicely explained. But also in the technology part, I have a few thoughts on this. Maybe it's not in the correctly summarized. One is, looking for technology which is not extremely expensive. There are a lot of tools and technologies which we can use that are quite cost effective. Simple examples like QR code scanning and all, these are not very expensive solutions. Finding the right technology solutions is very important. And the good thing is, in India, we have a lot of companies who work on providing low cost technologies. So that is one part. If you visit some of these industry exhibitions on technologies and automation within supply chain, there are a few such exhibitions that are held every year in multiple cities in the country, where we get to see these technologies being showcased. They are not very expensive also. So we talk about real-time visibility, but that is very expensive. What if we could have visibility created for short periods of time and giving us the right information? You will get devices of a cost of rupees 500, 600 rupees that can help you do this kind of tracking of information also. So there are lots of tools and technologies available at low cost. That is one part I would say. The second is developing a lot of systems through open source is helpful, and licensing solutions is a bit expensive, but you can definitely look for open source solutions. That being said, you have to be careful about the cyber security issues that can occur over here. So it is always good to have a little bit of external support, or someone within your data science team who also has a good understanding of the cyber security issues, basic issues. A lot of Indian banking systems are also having a lot of a good amount of cyber security inbuilt. So vendor management and all is still quite streamlined that way. Now, the other part which I am talking about is even government is also investing quite a bit in trying to help SMEs build the technology into their systems. So one of their initiatives is this ONDC, which is trying to bring in a lot of players on a common e-commerce platform, especially the smaller players. So they are working with smaller companies to figure out how their processes work and how they can be digitized. So what I would suggest is for small companies, MSMEs, they can look at some of the technology initiatives taken up by the government, and they are there to. They also provide financial support in some cases, and they also provide some expertise. So there is, I mean, we recently have been engaging with organization called NASCOM, which is, it's a group of. I mean, it's basically a non-profit, but it is a group of all these MSMEs who are using some kind of technology solutions or the other. And we see that there is a lot of scope and a lot of depth into which these companies are actually working in. And I think it would be good for small organizations to also work within, within sectors or within clusters, so that they're able to share and scale up together rather than trying to build all their investments into one organization. So there is a good amount of ecosystem that is developing. So I would really encourage that kind of direction to be taken. The last point I would say is when we are talking about technology, suppose we cannot afford our own investments, we can certainly work with our clients, or sometimes we suppose we have a large client or major client, we can see whether we can seek some kind of a short term engagement with our client to develop our systems, through the tools and technologies. There are a lot of companies have vendor development programs where they help the smaller suppliers actually build up their expertise. This very popularly we have seen in the automotive sector, tractor business and all of that we have seen. So similar kind of possibilities are there, irrespective of the sector, where the organizations can actually seek for some support from their client organization, large client organizations, to help them build their capabilities. So I hope I gave you some ideas as to what we can look at. This is for Deepak, I guess. So I hope we have answered your question, Deepak. Thanks for that interesting question.
Yes, yes. So thanks, Susmita. Then Professor Mr. Idris Ismail has a follow-up question, I think comment. So like we mentioned that data scientist, like you can hire, that is for SMEs, but obviously in a lighter note, like you can definitely, after completing this course, you will have a lot of ideas. Like we have focused multiple aspects. We have focused optimization aspect. We have also focused on prediction algorithm, but that's not all. So like many points, many case studies can be covered, which we have discussed in the class. So if your case study matches exactly with ours one, which we have discussed in the class, definitely it will be helpful. But so don't take it like too seriously. But this course is very much useful. So what you can do, like whatever topics you have learned from here, na, if your problem statement is exactly aligning with that topic or is closely aligning with that topic, you can definitely take up the clue from this course and build it up. So no need to hire. But let us say you are a startup, you are having SMEs, no expertise in Python coding, no expertise in analytics. Then in that context, I said data scientist. But definitely after taking this course, I'm sure many of you will develop this expertise, whatever data scientist needs, and you can start from there. Okay. So no need to worry, Mr. Ismail. Yes.
Yes, and we also have one very interesting question by Mr. Hussain. What is the future and roadmap for entrepreneurs in manufacturing and supply chain for business and founders? Obviously, as we know, India is growing. Every day we see this news that there is a lot of uh, investments, foreign investment, which is happening in our country. And obviously, there is a lot of focus on Make in India, PM Gati Shakti. There are various initiatives that government has taken to encourage manufacturing and supply chain. And obviously, to take up the manufacturing and supply chain at a larger level, on a larger scale, this requires a lot of um, I should say a lot of companies and lot of small scale, medium scale, and large scale companies to come up together and provide solutions for this. There's a huge scope which is definitely waiting for all of us, and whether in our small capacity or larger capacity, there is work for everyone. And this is incomplete without using technology. Under this, the course that has been offered is actually beautifully trying to see the future requirement and trying to provide solutions under that. How both technology and analytics can be leveraged for solving the upcoming challenges, which is going to happen in future very soon. And I'm sure some part of it is already there. It's going to become more and more complex. So, how technology and analytics can be taken up together to give the solution of this future requirements. We are trying to give a solution through this course, and I'm sure this will give you a lot of guidance about the future challenges and to take it up for both manufacturing and supply chain related businesses. So I think that I have tried to address from my side. If there are any other point, faculty can address the question.
I think Ismail is feeling better now. That's good to hear, Ismail. Um, so there's one question from Deepak, follow-up query, I think, on the key skill gaps in Indian workforce when it comes to implementing and managing digital supply chains, how to address them. So the key skill gaps that we see or we have observed, as faculty in IIM Mumbai, I would say, is primarily many of the people in supply chain management do not have prior skill sets or prior technical education when it comes to supply chain management. So this is one gap as such. They are very new to supply chain management. They would have come from other areas or other fields. So a lot of people usually come from, let's say somebody comes from an accounting background or someone comes from an HR background into supply chain management. So they would not have necessarily understood or studied supply chain before. But this is slowly changing also. We have already mentioned earlier, Gati Shakti is a scheme that is coming up where we are trying to do a lot of mass upskilling of people in supply chain management today. A lot of institutes, including ours, are providing courses in supply chain management. So that skilling part is definitely being, that gap is being narrowed over here. The second aspect that I would say when it comes to skill gap is the knowledge of technology, the knowledge of analytics, which is a challenge even today. This is not only for supply chain, I would say. This is in general also. Across the board, we have people who are not very well versed with analytics tools. Even Excel sheets, some people have difficulty understanding how to use Excel. And when we are working in supply chain management, you would be by now understanding that there is a lot of data that gets captured, which needs to be analyzed on a daily basis sometimes. So they are not able to do that analysis, and they're not able to derive insights. So these skill gaps can only be addressed if companies invest more in skilling their personnel on how to understand analytics well. Because that knowledge is required to interpret reports, to also understand the decisions taken, and to connect them with that analysis. That is a very big gap that we observe. Many people are not able to understand that. At a much more advanced level, I would say, data science is not taken very seriously in India when it comes to supply chain management today. As of today, it is still coming in slowly only. In comparison to most of the developed economies, the supply chain and logistics infrastructure and the ecosystem as such is largely unorganized in India. So more of the decision making is not analytics driven. More of the decision making is driven by daily discussions that people have, and a lot of firefighting aspects. So building good data science teams within the organization is very important to carry this out. And the final skill gap that I observe in supply chain management is people seem to think supply chain management is mostly related to manufacturing, right? Or it is to do with just delivery operations. But that is not the case. Supply chain is end-to-end understanding and integration of processes. It's a very cross-disciplinary subject, actually, if you see. It is about operations, it is about the marketing side, it is about vendor management, it is about client management. It is also about accounts, because a large part of it is dependent upon how we are managing the flow of materials, finances, and all of that. So when somebody is working in supply chain management, they may be good with the operations part of it, but they may not be very good with the business part of it. So this is a skill gap that also can be addressed when people take up more general courses on understanding. Sometimes there is also another challenge which comes up, which is people in logistics and supply chain management. They are not aware about the other industries very well. So that cross skilling is also required, because a lot of times the supply chains of two different industries will be working together. Automotive sector will be working with oil sector, right? So they have to understand how the other industries also develop, because some of the problems which happen in other industries will also impact your industry. So this understanding of the economy as such is very important when you're working in supply chain management. So as you can see, it is a very vast subject. So all the skill gaps cannot be addressed in one day or few days or something like that, but it takes a bit of time. But we are slowly reaching there. So these aspects are going to be there, and I'll also invite my colleagues to share if they have any further ideas here.
Yeah, beautifully explained by you. I think most of the points covered by Professor Susmita. So nothing much to add from our side, but I have been teaching analytics, data science related courses. So I'll just go back to that area once again. It's easy, it's easy to pick it up, and it's not so tough. So if you have the data, and nowadays we have a lot of data with you. So just to start with, whatever we are observing, that people are afraid to start analyzing the data. So you have huge amount of data. So you can start with small amount of data. So maybe vendor management data, maybe logistics data, and then don't look whole supply chain as a whole. You can focus on function wise and see how to improve that function, just to start with. And then slowly, you can connect all the functions and then make the project bigger and bigger. So if we take suddenly I want to change my company or my industry from 0 to 1 is tough. So you can see step by step, and that is how we can improvise our skills also. And our institute IIM Mumbai is helping a lot in this initiative. We have been running lot of courses on supply chain, logistics, digitization, and related areas. So as a PM, Gati Nodal Hub also, we have a lot of responsibilities. We are also training different uh, people who are associated with this industry. So participants also can see into our brochure, our website. So we have lot of short-term and long-term courses. So that is how we are trying to like reduce this supply demand gap in the logistic industry as far as the skills set is concerned. Okay. So yeah. Priyanka ma'am, like something to add from your side quickly.
Oh, no, yeah, thank you for explaining. I think you both have nicely covered all the points. And I think we have a time constraint because we have gone out of more than for 1 hour. There are few questions, so we request you to please write your questions to uh, the Q&A part, and obviously we'll try our best to address your queries as much as possible. And we hope that we have helped you out with your queries for today in today's session. Your final exam is coming up, so anytime from any part of the course, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us, and we will be addressing your questions and will be giving reply to. So I think we need to close because of the time limit. Thank you everyone. Wish you all the best for your final exams.
Yeah, ma'am, one question, like if we can take quickly, I think this is the last question. This is already written.
Yeah.
So quickly on supply chain sustainability, no? If you like, ma'am or Susmita, if you can quickly answer this, maybe in 2-3 minutes,
Yeah.
because yeah, yes.
Okay. So supply chain sustainability, I think I can see this question from Mr. Idrisil. Uh, this is obviously uh, you can say that this is the compulsory requirement in today's time, as we have to be sensitive about our environment and about the limited resources which we have around us. So companies are the one who are definitely who are engaged in manufacturing and their logistics part. They need to be sure that the resources which are being used uh, taken care, and the impact on the environment that these companies are creating should also be in control. So the element of this, basically in sustainability, three elements are taken care by the company. We call it as C in short, means SEE. The first is the the economical part, which is the processes are done in a way that the economical element attached to these processes are minimum, means you try to do your processes in the minimum cost possible. And then the second element about the sustainability is about second E, which is the environment. So the impact that your manufacturing process, your logistics, your supply chain, that has on the environment in terms of pollution and other aspects, that has to be minimized. And the third part is about making the social impact of your organization. So, are you doing some CSR activities, or how the processes are defined in a way so that is helping the both the internal beneficiary and the external beneficiary in in improving their lifestyle, in improving their health and other consideration. So whether if it is your employee, what benefit, what how processes are taken care so that the employees are benefited with their existing processes, and similarly how the companies are giving an impact to the outside members or to the society by generating or by doing certain activities which is suitable or which is helping the society to uplift or to improve their existing quality part. So, in terms of sustainability requirement, that is the expectation from any supply chain, basically. So, supply chain encompasses everything, starting from manufacturing, material management, manufacturing till the final delivery, taking care of logistics in between. So, in all these processes, the expectation is that the company considers these three elements in a integrated manner. If other colleagues wants to add to that, you can please help add to this.
No, I think that was perfectly summarized, and yeah, I think we are also out of time. So thank you everyone for participating today in this Q&A. I think further questions we can take it up through the discussion forum, and if possible, maybe another Q&A session, if it is feasible, we can see. Otherwise, thanks a lot for joining.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks all the participants. And thank you, Hussein ji, Ismail ji, for your feedback and comments. Thanks, Deepak ji, Jairam ji, like whoever has joined. Thanks to all of you. And as Professor Susmita told, like we'll try to have one more live session towards the end of the course, so that before your final exam, we can have a brush up session also. Okay. And meanwhile, keep writing in the discussion forum. We have very good TA with us. They will definitely help you. And if you have still some doubt, you can write to us also. Okay. No problem. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all the participants for your enthusiastic participation in today's live session. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am and sir. So we are closing this session.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.